Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. I came home and stopped in the hallway because I heard my name spoken like it was a problem to be solved. On his birthday, Emily's friend Brooke said, "That's the window. He won't push back. He'll be stunned." "Clock him right after the toast," Lena added, dry as chalk. "You've got to say it sweet. Then pivot. Timing is the whole show." Emily answered in that careful voice she uses when she's managing a meeting. "He'll freeze. He hates scenes. If I do it clean, I can move quick on the house and the accounts before he comes up for air." I didn't walk in. I set my gym bag down like a cat puts down a mouse and angled my phone around the doorway. The camera picked up the granite counter, the 2 wine glasses, my wife's hands drawing diagrams with a butter knife like a coach with a clipboard. I didn't tremble. I recorded. They discussed lists and schedules. Deadline, my birthday party. Outcome, me, stripped and quiet. When the front door clicked, I came in like I'd just arrived. "You ladies plotting the grocery list?" They spun. 3 smiles were tossed at me like confetti, light and fake. "Just talking about your cake," Emily said, brushing my cheek with a kiss that didn't land. If I'd known then how far she planned to go, I would have skipped to the end right there. But I wanted the full truth, not the version you can talk around later. I wanted actual facts on camera and a plan of my own that didn't need a raised voice. I put the phone away with the video tucked in the cloud, and I smiled back at my wife like a man who hadn't just been promoted to target. After they left, she hovered by the island in that bright blouse she wears when she wants the room to adore her. "You okay?" she asked. "You're quiet." "I'm thinking about ribs," I replied, opening the fridge. "Party food." "Don't overdo it," she said. "Let me handle most of it." "That a suggestion or a rule?" She shrugged. "A suggestion with good packaging. That your specialty?" She eyed me, searching for heat. I gave her none. I texted my buddy Nate. "Come by tomorrow, toolbox." No questions. He sent a thumbs up and the wrench emoji because he thinks he's a comedian. "By the way," she said, "Brooke's bringing 2 extra people." I told her it's fine. "You told her it's fine to bring strangers to my birthday in my house. You're always generous, Mark." "True." I took out a yellow legal pad and a pen. "Let me try a new format then. From tomorrow, separate budgets for household extras. Your socials, your brunches, your add-on guests, your tab. I'll cover mortgage, lights, and groceries like we agreed." "Clear." Her lips parted, then pressed thin. "Since when are you writing rules?" "Since the last time I checked the math." "I don't like the tone." "It's not a tone. It's a ledger. If you want more parties, pay for more parties." I wrote it down, folded the page, slid it into a drawer. System, not mood. She watched me with that polite stillness that looks like grace from far away and control up close. "We'll discuss this later." I just did. I grabbed my gym bag again. "I'm switching my direct deposit to the primary account only. The joint card is for utilities. No surprises." "You don't trust me?" "I trust arithmetic." She followed me to the mudroom. "You're being dramatic." "I'm being organized." She leaned on the doorframe. "What's wrong with you lately?" I tied my shoes. "You'll tell me at the party," I said, and her face ticked. Not a flinch, just a calendar flip behind the eyes. "Want me to make you a late dinner?" she asked, softened all at once. "You worked hard. You're probably starving." There it was, the quick climate change. I kept my voice flat. "I'll grab a burger with Nate. Don't wait up." She let me pass, her fingers grazing my arm, gentle as a museum sign. "Please don't touch." I didn't look back. At the shop the next morning, I changed the beneficiary on a small work policy, updated my emergency contact to my sister Kelly, and moved tools labeled Mark out of the shared bin into a locked cabinet. Nate watched me and whistled one low note. "You sober or something?" he asked, leaning on his workbench. "You're nesting in a toolbox." Doing what I should have done on day 1. I slid the cabinet shut and tightened the key ring onto my belt loop. "You still got that extra key to your storage?" "For you?" "Always," he said. "You planning a remodel or survival?" "Call it a cleanup." I laid out a clean folder. Dividers, tabs, party list on top, because some men make a to-do list. I make an exit plan that looks like a to-do list. Janine from HR stuck her head in, gray blazer, ginger hair, voice like she's perpetually on hold. "Mark, you wanted that form?" "Yeah." I signed the PTO adjustment, swapping next Monday's time off for Friday. Just moving a few things around. Nice. Happy early birthday. Emily's doing something big, right? Apparently, I said. Janine tilted her head. Be good to yourself. Don't let people turn your day into their stage. Wise, I nodded. Nate smirked. She say that in a training manual? It's from life. Janine shot back, then softened. If you need a witness for anything, let me know. I'm good, I said, but I filed her name under options. Around noon, Emily texted, lunch outside your office? Surprise. 5 minutes later, she walked in carrying a paper bag, hair smooth, smile warm. She set up a little picnic on the break table like we were high school sweethearts. I wanted to do something nice, she said, sliding a sandwich toward me. I've been stressed. You've been patient. Is that an apology or a commercial? Can it be both? She half laughed. It can. I'm just checking the terms. She took a slow breath. I know I've been distracted. Big volunteer project. My mom's on me. I appreciate you. Thanks. I replied, and I meant it exactly as a receipt. Item recorded, no credit extended. She reached for my hand. Let's reset. No more nitpicking. We're a team. Then let's play like one, I said, and slid my hand back and used it to text Nate. Storage tonight. He replied with a simple, got it. Emily watched the little exchange. Work? She asked. Always, I answered. She packed the trash, kissed my cheek like a promise with no date, and left with a wave. Mid-turn, the soft approach. File it. Don't buy it. Marcus from the back, Bay popped his head around the corner because he hears everything and pretends he's deaf. She came in sweet, he said. She came in correct, I answered. You believe it? I heard my name in the wild yesterday. I'm running checks. His eyebrows rose. You want me on standby? Just be at the house Saturday by 4, I said. Bring your sarcasm and clean shoes. My floors don't deserve your boots. Harsh, boss, he grinned. Wear a nice shirt then. We're your audience. Exactly, I said. Friday night, I moved my important files and a couple of personal items to Nate's storage. Tool sets, my old photo album, documents in a fireproof envelope, the title to my truck. No dramatics. Just a transfer, calm as a grocery run. I left the closet looking the same. Emily was out with Brooke, planning party details, a phrase that now translated to theater blocking. At home, I changed the code on the garage keypad and texted Emily the update like it was a routine security thing. She responded with a heart emoji and, "You're the best." She was on her way back and picking up that dessert you like. Illusion, round 2 loading. She came in all shine and cinnamon, set the dessert on the counter, slid behind me, and wrapped her arms around my waist. You're a good man, she murmured. I try, I said. Let me make it up to you for being distant, she whispered, oversweet. Let's have a calm weekend. No conflict. Just us. You'll get your calm, I answered. I'm a generous host. She looked up at me then, searching for the old softness. I met her eyes and kept it light, but not open. She kissed me like a retail return, barely used. Then she set to work placing plates on the dining room table like chess pieces. Should we invite my parents earlier? She asked. Absolutely, I replied. They should sit up front. Front, metaphorically, I said, and she studied me for a half-second too long. Brooke texted her. The phone lit up on the counter with 3 bubbles dancing. Plan details. Emily turned the screen face down. She tested me with a tiny jab. Don't go overboard on the speech, okay? People get uncomfortable when you get direct. I'll be concise, I said. Promise? She asked. You have my word. I told her, and she didn't know what that word had been doing all week, running around town, changing locks and folders. On Saturday morning, she played the perfect host. The house smelled like roast and lemon polish. She laughed at nothing. She touched my shoulder whenever she stood near me as if we were married. Kelly came early with a stack of paper gift bags and her usual black humor. No clowns, she said, stepping in. I brought balloons, but I'll pop them if the vibe turns weird. It'll turn weird, I told her quietly. Just stay close. Am I bodyguard or witness? You're my sister, I said. She nodded once, eyes sharp. Then I'm both. At noon my phone buzzed with a call from Tom, my father-in-law, who is soft-spoken and rarely calls. We're excited, he said. Diane's baking bread. She says you like it when it's a little under. I do, I answered. Thanks for coming. Anything we should know? Tom asked, an odd pause on his tongue. You'll hear it when I do, I said. We hung up. I wrote, play video, speaker mode, on a sticky note, and stuck it inside the top drawer of my office desk so I wouldn't forget to connect my phone to the soundbar. Logistics beats emotion. Always. Around 2, Emily's midturn shifted into full performance. She glided, she admired, she corrected a flower stem by half an inch, and then praised my taste in music. If she'd handed out tickets at the door, nobody would have been surprised. You look happy, she said to me in the hallway, smoothing an invisible wrinkle on my shirt. Finally relaxed. I'm enjoying the moment, I told her. Keep doing that, she replied, and walked away to greet guests with a warmth I had not seen in months. Brooke arrived with her companion list, laughter a little too bright. Lena followed, cat quiet. Neighbor Mrs. Patel arrived with a pie. Marcus came with a joke about dress codes and a jacket that proved he could try when pressed. Janine, invited by Kelly because I needed someone who could speak like a report, slipped in and nodded once like a notary at a wedding. Tom and Diane hugged me and called me son. I hugged them back because they had raised a daughter who, at least at one point, had been kind. At 4:30 the house was full. I had the folder in my office drawer and a calm that felt like steel, not ice. Emily tapped her glass soon after the candles were blown out. She placed her hand on my shoulder and smiled at the room with practiced warmth. Everyone, she began. Thank you for being here for Mark. He is steady. He is hardworking. He is the reason this house runs. He fixes everything from the faucet to my moods. He's our rock. A few chuckles. She squeezed my shoulder. I want to say one more thing. Life is chapters. Some chapters end, others begin. Tomorrow, I'll be filing for. I stood up smooth. Hold on 1 second. I cut in easy. Before we jump to your chapters, I've got something too. There was a ripple. She blinked, recovered, and tilted her head like a teacher indulging a student. The room turned toward me. Forks stalled midair. Dear, I said, smiling. I brought you a present. She tried to laugh. Babe, this is your day. My gift to you is clarity. I walked to the office, opened the top drawer, took out the folder. Inside, signed separation papers prepared ahead of her clock, plus a printed screenshot of a cloud link. I returned and handed the folder to her. Open it. The muscles around her mouth tightened, then vanished. She flipped the cover, scanned the first page, and her voice shot out a notch. These are papers. Correct. She looked up, baffled. For us. For you, I answered. And me. Equal treatment. Brooke tried for humor. Okay, you two planned a bit together, cute. It's not a bit, I said. There's more. Emily's eyes skittered across the pages again. You had these prepared? I planned a party, I said. It had a theme. What is this? Diane asked, leaning forward. It's a plan, I said. And context. I lifted my phone, paired it to the soundbar with 2 taps, and pressed play. The audio filled the room, the calm voices from my hallway. Emily scheduling my shock, Brooke coaching the timing, Lena advising the tone to strike so I'd fold. Brooke went pale and put her hand over her mouth. Lena took a step back, eyes fixed on the coffee table like it had answers carved into it. Tom sat up straight, hands on his knees. Diane said, Emily, in one clean word that held an entire family history. Emily tried to speak over it. This is a violation, she said, voice bending. Quiet, Tom said. It wasn't loud, but it landed. He's a small man who uses gentle words, so when he decides a syllable is heavy, you feel gravity. The audio ended with Emily laying out the move. My birthday. Right after the toast, she'd deliver the blow and then work the logistics while I was reeling. I stopped the recording. The house went silent except for the hum of the fridge and a car passing outside with a bass line too loud for the street. Diane stood, not to yell, but to reach for the folder. Let me see, she said, and I handed it to her. Emily grabbed the papers back. This is being twisted, she declared, hands shaking now. I was venting. They're exaggerating. We've been unhappy. I tilted my head. Speak for yourself. You're absent, she insisted, words stacking without a foundation. You don't listen to me. You shut down. I carry this house. Do you? Kelly asked, arms crossed. Because my brother just carried receipts. Brooke lifted her chin. We were being supportive. Of what? Janine asked, voice clinical. Weaponizing a birthday? Coordinating a shock to influence decisions? That's not support. That's planning. Lena started toward the door. I'm not part of this, she muttered. Weren't you the one talking tone? Marcus quipped. Because this tone is spicy. Tom turned to Emily. You plan to do this here? She glared at me, hunting for a counterattack, some piece of dust to blow into a storm. He's not easy. Neither is decency, I replied. But people try. She pointed at the phone. Recording me in my own kitchen? You recorded yourself, I said. I just saved a copy. Diane put her hand on the back of a chair as if to steady the room, not herself. Emily, say you didn't mean this. Emily started, then stopped. She looked at Brooke, who found her purse. She looked at Lena, who had already opened the front door. The two of them disappeared with mumbled excuses, leaving the woman who thought she ran the stage holding an empty script. Emily tried again. Mark, we're miserable. You've been performing miserable, I said. I've been making dinner, paying bills, fixing gutters. That's not misery. That's life. If you wanted out, you could have said it like a person, not like a magician. She bristled. You're impossible. No, I answered. I'm done. Tom sat back down slowly. What happens now? Simple, I said. This comes to an end like adults, not actors. She's packed tonight. I'll cover a moving service to her parents or wherever she wants to start. We separate the extras immediately. She doesn't speak for me with vendors, family, or friends. I'll handle my side. She handles hers. Emily laughed once, but there was no humor. You can't force me out. Look around, I replied, and I gestured lightly to the room full of witnesses. I'm not forcing anything. I'm stating my terms. The paperwork mirrors that. It's prepared, not dramatic. I'm not negotiating in front of guests, but I'm not living with someone who treats events like weapons. Mark, Diane said softly, pained. This is a lot. It is, I nodded. And it's also straightforward. I'm not angry. I'm clear. Emily's eyes filled. It wasn't grief. It was calculation that misfired. You're humiliating me. No, I corrected. You did that to yourself. I'm just turning off the speaker. There was a long beat where everyone breathed and nobody moved. Then I clapped my hands once, not loud, like you do to get a team's attention after practice. New plan, I said to the room. This, apparently, is both a birthday and a going away. The house is full of good people who didn't sign up to be extras. So let's pivot. Pivot to what? Marcus asked, half amused, half angry. To dinner, I said. Off-site. My treat. Whoever wants to keep celebrating, we go to the place down by the river. Give Emily space to pack with whoever she chooses. We'll be back late. I'll need the house clear. Emily stepped forward, hands out. Wait, we can talk. We just did, I replied. You did it with an audience. I'm doing it with a schedule. Tom looked at his daughter. Come with us, he urged quietly. We'll help you sort your things. Emily shook her head, defiant at first, then lost. This isn't fair. Fair, Kelly said. You planned to cut his legs on his birthday and take his chair while he fell. He stood up first. That's fair. Diane exhaled. Mark, I'm sorry. You don't owe me an apology, I told her. You raised me with kindness by proxy. That counts. Janine, bless her procedural soul, lifted a hand. For clarity, she said to the room. Everyone heard the recording. Everyone saw Mark's folder. He announced his boundary calmly. That's the record. Put it in the minutes, Marcus muttered. I grabbed my jacket. All right, I said to whoever could hear. I'm heading out. Meet you at the cars. Emily reached for my arm like a reflex. I stepped back. No, I said, calm enough to hold a glass of water steady. You've spent months practicing distance. I'm giving it to you for real. Her face cracked in places paint can't fix. I turned to the guests and pointed, host again. Keys, phones, purses, let's go. We can still salvage a night. Tom hugged me once, quick, a father's apology for a grown daughter's choices. Diane squeezed my hand like she was signing a document with her fingers. Kelly kissed my cheek and whispered, You did this clean. Marcus clapped my back. Janine nodded formally, as if approving emotion. Mrs. Patel pressed a foil-covered pie into Emily's hands on the way out. For comfort, she said, and walked out shaking her head. We drove. We ate. We toasted to beginnings without talking about endings. We left Emily the house, the boxes in the garage, the evening to decide if she wanted to keep pretending or start packing like a person. She texted me 3 times on the way to the restaurant and 5 times while we were there. It began with, "We shouldn't do this like this," moved to, "I'm sorry, I got carried away," then stretched into, "I can change, I mean it," and finally settled on, "Please come home, we can talk without them." I read each message and set the phone face down. I laughed at Marcus's story about dropping a transmission on his boot in '09. I asked Tom about his garden. I bought dessert for the table and gave the server a tip that said, "Thank you for not asking questions." On the ride home, around midnight, she called. I let it ring once, then answered on speaker because Kelly was in the passenger seat and I prefer daylight to shadows. "Where are you?" Emily asked, voice watery and thin. "On my way back," I replied. "Can we just reset?" I was wrong to plan anything. I panicked. I was scared. "You're too calm. It makes me feel shut out." "You were not scared," I said. "You were confident. You rehearsed. You had a schedule. You had a team." "Don't talk like that," she pleaded. "Please. I messed up. I'll fix it. I'll be perfect. I'll..." "Stop selling," I cut in. "There's no buyer." She started to cry, the kind of crying that tries to buy time. "Let me show you I can." "Pack," I said. "That's the only show left. I don't have anywhere to go." "You have parents who love you," I said, "and friends who love planning. They'll stage your exit." "That's cruel," she whispered. "No," I answered. "Cruel is saving a hammer for my birthday." Silence. Then a small voice I almost didn't recognize. "Will you ever forgive me?" I considered the empty road. "I don't carry what isn't mine," I said, and hung up. When we pulled into the driveway, the living room lights glowed like a hospital hallway. Boxes were stacked by the door. A suitcase sat on the rug. There was a note on the console table. "I'll be at my parents' for a few days." No heart. No exclamation points. Just the truth stripped of costumes. Her keys lay beside the note. Kelly squeezed my arm, short and firm. "You did it," she said. "I followed instructions," I replied. She nodded. "Yours." I slept that night like a man who paid off a debt he didn't make. In the morning I made coffee, turned on the news, turned it off, stood in the quiet, and felt the weight move from my chest to the trash can with the empty filters. I didn't hear from Emily again that day, or the next. Diane texted once. "We're helping her settle. Thank you for not making it ugly." And I sent back a simple, "Thank you for coming yesterday." On Monday, I drove to work with the windows cracked and the radio low. Nate met me at the bay with a grin. "So," he said, "how's freedom?" "It fits," I answered. He tossed me a small metal keychain. A little gift. Ratchet, 1/2 inch. For when things get stuck. "I like tools that do their job," I said. "Unlike people," he replied. "Sometimes," I agreed. Janine swung by with a neutral face. "How's the project?" she asked, and she meant life. "On schedule," I said. "Stakeholders aligned." "Excellent," she deadpanned and moved on. I called a moving service, had them pick up the boxes Emily left in the garage, and delivered them to Tom's address with a polite note. I canceled the joint extras we didn't need, split the streaming that could be split, sent an email list of bills with due dates and amounts, and wiped the house down to its bones. The week after, I took down the pictures where we were holding on to each other like we were both falling. I kept the ones where we were standing side by side doing normal things, painting the porch, laughing at a bad haircut. History isn't garbage. It's just dated. I boxed what wasn't mine and returned it. I kept what was mine and left room in the closets like a new space that owed me nothing. Kelly came by with her husband to mount a set of new shelves. Marcus dropped off a plant because he said houses breathe better that way. Mrs. Patel waved from the sidewalk and said she liked the quiet again. I smiled in a way that reached my eyes. 3 months later, I had a different Saturday rhythm. I took my truck out to the lake on weekends and brought back bait stories without the bait. I started seeing someone who likes her own company as much as mine. Her name is Laura. She's a nurse with a timetable that makes mine look loose. She doesn't keep secrets, she keeps lists. We go to the farmer's market and buy peaches and argue about whose taste in barbecue is wrong. Then we take a slow drive with the windows down. It's simple. I'm not 16. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just done with chaos. Work went well. I led a small team on a project that nobody wanted because it didn't look shiny. We came in early and under budget. Janine sent an email with the word kudos in it twice. Nate wrote, "Legend," on my toolbox with painter's tape and a Sharpie, and I didn't make him remove it because it made customers laugh. As for Emily, I heard pieces. Tom and Diane kept it minimal. She moved into a small rental near her parents, then into a smaller one across town. I saw her once from my truck, crossing a street with a tote bag, looking both ways and then down. I didn't slow. I didn't speed up. I just want to get groceries like people do when their life is in order. If you're listening for a moral, I don't have any new ones. It's the same old thing men forget because we want to be decent and comfortable. Watch the respect, not the speeches. When someone shows you a calendar with your pain penciled in, don't cry. Don't bark. Move the date. Change the venue. Set your own rules. Let them call it cold. Let them call it cruel. You'll sleep. Sometimes I go back to that night in my head, that moment she tapped the glass. I remember the way my chair slid back without scraping, the way my voice didn't rise. I remember the laugh lines around Diane's eyes disappearing when she realized what her daughter had done. I remember telling the room dinner was on me because generosity is my habit and I refused to let someone else bend it into weakness. If you ask what felt best, it wasn't the gasp or the recording or the scramble. It was the line I gave her when she grabbed my arm. A sentence that lives under every boundary I draw now. No. 2 letters. Clean. It left the door open behind me and closed the doors I won't enter again. I drove to the lake this morning in that truck whose title lives in a cabinet only I can open. I grabbed coffee from a place where the owner knows my order but doesn't ask about my week. I picked up Laura after her shift. We listened to the radio talk about nothing important. The sun was out. The dashboard warned me about low tire pressure, and I actually smiled because even a warning felt easy now. Life isn't a stage. It's a shop. Things break. You fix them. You don't build traps for the people you claim as your own. That birthday night, I left the house with a full group and came back to a quiet hallway and a note. That was my present to myself. Silence and a clear path. I unwrapped it, put it on a shelf, and I've been using it ever since.